we want to go through all of the key players that are going to be available for trade in the next 24 or so hours here and preview the trade deadline for you guys. We're going to take maybe a minute or two on each player that we have listed here, 11 players that we want to go through. We're going to go through the odds for them to be traded, and then we're going to talk about if we think they'll get traded, who they should go to, and why the fit over there makes sense. So, again, 11 players that we want to go to, and we're going to preview this because we are doing, once again, reminding you guys, the trade deadline watch along for tomorrow. The guests have not been finalized here, but Pips will be joining me on the Hammer HQ YouTube channel. We'll be live reacting to the trades as they go down up until the 3 p.m. Eastern time deadline, and also once it's over, after 3 p.m., we'll go through the aftermath and talk about the fits and what new teams, and go through maybe the futures odds and what should be effective, where maybe you can find some value on those lines. But let's not delay. Let's go into the list here. Like I said, a lot of players to go through, so we'll try to spend a minute or two on each one. These are not all of them are not the highest odds, but these are just players we also wanted to talk about here. For starters, the player that has been perceived as the most likely to get traded is Jae Crowder. Has not played at all this season, has been waiting for a trade, wants out of the Phoenix Suns. He is no longer available on the DraftKings market to be traded. Will preface as well that we do not support these DraftKings odds. I just didn't see odds anywhere else for players to get traded. We think these are too inflated and not worth betting. But just to add in some sort of thought into how likely they may be to get traded. Jae Crowder is very likely. He's off the board right now. Let's go to you, Pips. Do you think he'll get traded? Where do you think he'll end up and why?
Yes, and I think the best spot for him is Dallas.
So newly acquired Kyrie Irving. They are lacking a lot of defense. Do you think Dallas are going to be making a push to get him?
Yeah, because he's cheap, so they should go for him, and he'll make a great fit there. But I don't know if they will. But I think they should. And yeah, there are also so many teams that could use Jae Crowder, and whoever goes for him, I think Bucks could actually go for him. He will do great there. And yeah, I don't know what's happening. Like, yeah, I would say Bucks and Dallas for
So
Jae Crowder.
I think Dallas may have lost a little bit too much of their assets they want to give up to make this
Also,
happen.
sorry,
Go ahead.
just forgot one team. It's Cleveland Cavaliers also.
Yeah,
That could
yes.
use, yeah. So that these
Definitely.
three for me. Yeah.
Take out Isaac Okoro and add in Jae Crowder. I think that makes the team not considerably better, but quite a bit better. I think the most likely spot is the Milwaukee Bucks. Take out Grayson Allen from the starting lineup, add in Jae Crowder as the 4 to that team, just a guy to sit in the corner on offense, to play solid defense to playoffs. I think this makes a lot of sense from Milwaukee perspective. Makes sense for Dallas, but most likely to get it done, in my opinion, would be the Milwaukee Bucks. There's been talks of Dwara, Ibaka, and Hill being offered with seconds, which Tuna is letting us know in chat, which I think is something that the Phoenix Suns should consider in the next day or so. Let's move into the second player here. This is OG Anunoby. I'm a Raptors fan, so I love OG. Pips is not a Raptors fan, but he loves OG. Big odds on him to get traded. Big asking price, apparently, from the Raptors. Where do you think he's going to end up and why?
First, who isn't fan of OG? Like, I don't know
exactly.
anyone that like,
exactly.
You can't not love this guy. We talk about it like a lot, and I don't know if he'll be traded, but I can see that he will be traded, and he will improve every team in the NBA, like
absolutely
by far. And I think Grizzlies should go for him. He amazing fit, but also one amazing fit that I didn't figure out until now. It's Sacramento Kings. Like, they just like, I'm not a huge fan of them making a run with Harrison Barnes and Keegan Murray on the wings, and their defense is terrible. And having a guy like OG Anunoby will improve their defense a lot, and that will be amazing. I think that will be amazing for Kings to have a guy that can defend like anyone. And because they don't have a point of attack defender and they don't have good wing defenders, so it will improve them a lot. And I think OG will be amazing in the system of Sacramento Kings offensively, also because he's a strong guy. Like if you can like trying to catch him off the dribble handoff with Sabonis, good luck. Like
Oh yeah,
yeah, and
way
also
stronger than he looks.
yeah, he's one of the strongest guys in the league. Like he's amazing, and I just love the fit with Kings. And I think Kings have a lot of players on the roster that aren't even playing. They can like this is the time to offer draft capital. Like they are the best they've been over the last 20 years. And yeah, I just think this could work. Like this trade will work. I don't think anyone
I
thought of this bet. Like I didn't see anyone like, and this makes sense.
I love that fit there. I think that makes a lot of sense. My prediction here might be a hot take, but I think that Masai Ujiri, Raptors president, Bobby Webster, Raptors GM, are going to ask for a king's ransom for OG. I think they try to get too much and end up keeping him. That's my prediction as a Raptors fan looking at this. I think they covet OG. They love OG. They're going to try to do everything they can to keep him unless they get an offer that blows them away. I just don't think any team's going to offer that at the deadline.
Question: would you accept like what would you want from the Knicks?
The Knicks, they'd have to give the draft picks they have are not good. They'd have to give 3 of their first round picks to do this. Along with that, you'd probably have to get a decent young player if they're willing to give one up. I don't know if Grimes might be a little bit too far. Maybe somebody like Obi Toppin coming into the Raptors. I think the Raptors could do some good things with him if he gets more minutes. But like even at that point, OG would have to expressly say he wants to leave for me to take something like that. But if he genuinely wants out, wants a bigger role, which we've talked about, then something along those lines of 3 not great first round picks and like a young player and salary filler is like the minimum I think the Raptors could take.
I think Knicks have a lot to offer. Picks, as you said, are not great, but they have so many young players that could like manage quickly.
Mm.
Like they have Obi Toppin, they have Grimes, and also I would love just to switch AJ Barrett and OG Anunoby.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure Raptors. I mean, RJ Barrett
Yeah,
is from just outside of Toronto. He's essentially from Toronto. That would be Raptors fans would fall in love with
yeah,
that one. RJ hasn't been
yeah.
great this season,
That
but
would be amazing. Yeah, I would love like just to switch these players and like I'm okay. Like do it.
I don't know if the Knicks would go that far. If they did, then that is
Yeah,
more than okay
I
with me.
know, but I think everyone in the Knicks are just tired of him not improving at all
Yeah,
for the last
I
three
agree.
seasons. Yeah, but yeah, that's what just like what I would like in this point.
I prefer to send him out west from a fan perspective. I don't want to play him 4
Yeah,
times a
yeah,
season. I don't want Siakam and Barnes going up against him 4 times a season. I'll say that. Let's move
yeah.
now into the next player on the list. Another Raptors player. I am going in order just by odds here. Fred VanVleet, minus 400 to get traded. Where do you think Fred VanVleet could end up and why?
Uh, uh, that one is even more difficult for me. Like I just don't know where the fit. Like I love him as a player, but I don't think I would never want him on my team, and I don't see him fitting with. It's difficult fit. Like I actually really don't know which team he will fit. Like I would love to hear your ideas of where he fits, but
Well, where he fits makes a bit more sense if the Pelicans want like an actual point guard to like a scoring point guard to start there. That somewhat makes sense. The easiest fit is definitely the Los Angeles Clippers. The hard part is getting something back to the Raptors that satisfies them from that position. the Clippers makes like a ton of sense to improve there. But like, is
Yeah,
a trade package around Terrence Mann really gonna thrill the Raptors front office there? I'm not so sure on that side.
yeah,
It's tough.
um, yeah. So if I needed to came up with something, I would say, of course, Clippers. But I like a bit more pass first point guard for them.
Yes, I agree. I agree on that one.
So I don't see the fit either for the Clippers. They need a
It,
point guard, but not Fred VanVleet.
yes, it's tough on this one. I don't know where it fits, but I would predict right now that Fred VanVleet does get traded. I think OG stays. I think Fred is one that is going to get traded. I just don't know where. Let's move into the next one. Mason Plumlee, the Plum Bucket. He's been doing really well with the Hornets. He's minus 280 to be traded. I imagine the Hornets will try to capitalize on some value given how he's been playing. Do you see any good destinations for him?
I love
Can I give you one? Can I give you one?
Yeah, for sure.
I think the Denver Nuggets as a backup center. I think that is a good fit here. They have a trade exception in place from the Monte Morris trade that satisfies the salary for Mason Plumlee. I think that this is a solid backup player so that DeAndre Jordan never sees the light of day again. What do you think?
Yeah, obviously I agree with that. Like that's perfect, but didn't like I don't know. Like it's he's maybe too good to play 10 minutes a game at this point. Like I don't know if he will be satisfied with this after playing 30 minutes and being great.
Yeah.
Like I would love him to be backup center for Denver, but that's like then probably one of the best backup C's in the entire league. Like Denver would
Yeah,
be too good then. Yeah. So this
I
great
suppose.
move, but like eh, I don't know. Like
I don't know how many teams would like how many good teams, with all due respect, Plumlee's playing well. How many good teams would start Mason Plumlee? I don't know. There's really any. I
not
do like
start, but like
this one, Dallas as a secondary playmaker when Luka carried
yeah,
up. I don't dislike that. I think that's solid. I don't know what they have to offer at this point because they gave away quite a bit to get Kyrie Irving, but I don't hate that fit. This is tough. I think he's like too good for a backup, but I don't know if any good team starts him at the
yeah.
C. Um,
That's true. That's true. Yeah,
like the
it's
Raptors,
difficult to move these players. Like, yeah, it's just I don't
the
know.
Raptors need a center, but I wouldn't want to start Mason Plumlee as my center, even with the Raptors
Yeah,
playing
I
so
know
poorly.
another team that needs a center, but it's a similar thing to the Denver Nuggets. It's 76ers. They need like like 12 minutes guy to replace Embiid. Like it's unbelievable that Doc Rivers is still playing Montrezl Harrell. Like I had a
He can't
conversation.
play defense. He can't play defense.
So a couple of days ago, I had Embiid bet against the Knicks, and they were up in first quarter, like in 8 minutes. 76ers were up, I think 34-12, like 22 points up. And my friend was saying like he's watching probably this, like he was saying like blowout concerns. And I was like, no worries, we have Doc
Montrezl.
Rivers. No worries, we have Doc Rivers. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
Montrezl Harrell gets in and like he was minus 15 in 3 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was amazing. And the greatest thing of this is they end up losing the game. And they lost the game in those 3 minutes that he played Montrezl Harrell. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, Montrezl Harrell is probably the worst defensive bigs in history of the NBA. Like, he just can't. He don't doesn't have the size or the like positioning or like instincts. Like, he's one of the worst defensive. He's not a center actually. We are looking at his size, but he's playing it, and he's the worst at defense. Like I just can't get another guy that's on that level like terrible. And
Yeah.
yeah, they lost the game because they played Harrell for 3 minutes. Amazing.
So Plumlee, tough. He's on an expiring contract though, so I think even if he's too good to be a backup, like I just think the Denver one makes a ton of sense. Me and Javon have agreed on a lot here, but it is tough,
Yeah.
as you said. Let's move into the next player here. If a team needs a shooter, this could be your guy, Gary Trent Jr. minus 250 to get traded on DraftKings. Another player that the Raptors may be looking to move. His contract's expiring end of season. He's making $18 million. That's solid. I think that's solid. There could be maybe the purple and gold might be looking his way again. Do you see any good destination for Gary Trent Jr.?
I actually can get to the team that will go for him, but I think he will improve every team that he goes to. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think he will get traded. Like, I'm out of these players, I think he has the most sense to get traded. And only the part that he's young, still young, he's not in his favor. But he had some beefs with Nick Nurse, to say at least, and yeah, I think he gets moved, and I don't know. Like, well, what do you think of Gary Trent Jr. defense?
It's boomer bust. He is very high risk, high reward, which sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not so great. So
Yeah,
like he really bites hard for steals, and he's quite good at getting steals. But if he doesn't get that steal, then there are some struggles there. So boomer bust is the best way to describe his defense.
yeah. So I don't know who gets him because he is not 3 and D because D is missing.
Yes,
So
but he's a
he,
lot. I would
but
say he's a little bit better than just like a 3 and D guy on offense. Like he can
yeah,
create his own shot. I
yeah.
think contenders could really look for a guy like this to come
But
off
I
the
will
bench.
I will have him coming off the bench if he goes to the
Yeah,
contenders.
as a 6 man, he's like a perfect sort of 6 man
True.
player.
So
I
that's what,
Yeah, go
like
ahead.
then if he is from the bench, he fits every team, like every playoff team. Like you have go like Grizzlies, sure. Kings, sure. Clippers, they don't need him. Suns, sure. Mavericks, sure. Like
Oh yeah.
everyone will profit of him having him on the bench. Like even Pelicans, Wolves, like every team on the playoff spot would have like sense to go for Kevin Trent Jr.
I think it'll be a team out of nowhere that comes through and gets Gary for
Yeah,
the reasons
because
that you're
there is
saying
not
there.
like one perfect because everyone could
Yeah,
go for him.
everybody can go for that. All right, let's go to the next player, Bojan Bogdanovic, coming off a couple months now since he signed an extension. I think it's a solid extension. He's making about $20 million a year the next 2 years. Obviously, the Pistons are bad. Bojan's playing very well. Do you see any good destination for him at the deadline? I would, just to start us off, I think it's similar to the Trent thing where he helps a lot of teams. But what do you think?
I think the Lakers like is the perfect spot for him with his
Yeah, I
shooting.
like that.
Yeah, so that's the perfect spot. But Boyan is a better player than Kevin Trent Jr. is, I will
Yeah,
say.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he's probably the best player that anyone can get. Like for cheap.
For
Like I
cheap.
won't say he's better than OG, but OG will ask for a huge amount, and he's the best player that you can get for cheap on the deadline.
Yeah,
So like every team that needs shooting, he is great for that team.
yeah, I agree. I think the Lakers' best spot for him, if they can, it's just, do they want to give up one of those picks to get Bojan? It might be
They
worth it,
should.
but
They should.
I understand the reluctance because I don't think they're going far in the playoffs, even with that trade. Let's go to the
Yeah.
next one. This is your guy. I can't believe this guy is still on the Houston Rockets, but Eric Gordon, to this day, is a Houston Rockets player. I'd love to see him on a different team. I'm sure you would as well. Where do you think Eric Gordon fits? Again, another similar 3 and D sort of player, guy who shoots threes, who can land on a bunch of teams.
Yeah, but this is the guy, like difference between Bojan Bogdanovic and Gary Trent Jr. is that you can be like okay with putting the ball in Eric Gordon's hand and let him create his own or for the other players. Like he has 3 assists a game over his career, like as a shooter. Like
Very
he can
good.
create. Like last game he had eight assists. Like he's the guy that can have these kinds of game. But I hate his like like the way Houston Rockets are using him. They are playing him at small forward starter. That's terrible. But if he's your like sixth man or like second guy of the bench, he can be provide amazing value like for any contender that struggle with scoring. And there is just so many teams that he could help. Of course, there are teams that don't need anyone. Like Celtics have like
Yeah.
Bucks. Bucks could use actually.
I was gonna say Bucks might be a solid
Bucks could
spot.
use it. Like 76ers probably not. Cleveland Cavaliers probably not. Nets probably not. Like all these teams that have like grade 6 and 7 players of the bench, like that have like someone. But the teams that don't have anyone, Gary Gordon is their guy. Like Phoenix Suns is also the one team that can get a bit like with Gary Gordon being like next to the I don't know Shemet and Cameron Payne on the bench. Like that's actually pretty good grade for them, and he will improve their team.
Yeah.
So my best spot for Gary Gordon is Phoenix Suns, but I could see him at the Bucks.
I see a lot of teams here. I think Bucks makes sense. I actually think Cavaliers, if they can get him cheap, it's not a bad idea to throw him as the three guy, the three in their starting lineup. But
I don't
this,
like that.
you don't like that? Well,
He doesn't.
I think
He doesn't have. He doesn't have size for playing small forward.
that's true. I think there's a lot of teams. This is another guy that just fits in a lot of places, and
Yeah.
it's for the reason you said. The guys who can shoot and play defense, and for this guy, he can do a little bit more. Every team could use a player like that. So let's move to the next one. Tim Hardaway Jr. He has risen up to minus 200 to get traded. I see the Dallas Mavericks struggling to trade Tim Hardaway Jr. I don't know if there's a ton of demand for something like that. What do you think about him?
He's similar player to Kevin Trent Jr., but Trent Jr. is better than him, so and younger. So I don't think
Gary Trent's
like
expiring as well, which Hardaway has got
yeah.
2 more years
So
after this.
yeah, I just think that there won't be many offers, and offers that will be there won't be great. So I think Dallas will actually profit more with staying with him than moving him because it's just they won't get any value back for him. And if teams decide to go for that player profile, they will go for Gary Trent Jr.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I would have said I
I'm
think he'll
not
stay.
sure if he will. Yeah, I think he stays.
All right, next one is Siakam. We're getting into the positive money territory here. I'll start here because I am a very, very big Pascal Siakam fan, and somebody who might be a bigger Pascal Siakam fan is Masai Ujiri. Masai would have to get the world and more to trade Siakam, and I would like you can usually piece together all of the reports going around and try and get a good sense of the vibe. And the vibe I'm picking up here is Siakam would like to continue playing for the Raptors. I'm not going to rule it out completely. I think plus 100 is just horrible, and I wish there was a no side to this bet as many others. But I would be shocked if Siakam wasn't a Raptor after tomorrow. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he stays. That's it. Like it's simple as that. Like they decide to blow out everything. Sure, he is going also, but I don't think they can trade Siakam, VanVleet, OG Anunoby, and Gary Trent Jr. in one day. And if all these guys, I think Pascal Siakam is the safest one to stay. And
Yeah, agree completely there. 2 more players to go, starting with Alec Burks. This is actually the only price that I think might be worth it. It's plus 120 for him to get traded. This is like the only one. This is another guy. It's tough to say a specific team that he could go to. I think there's quite a few teams that could find some value there. I don't think he's going to trade it for a lot. I think it's just like a supplementary piece to your bench. Maybe you have an injury. Maybe you're just a bit of a thin team. Alec Burks could be your guy. What do you think about that?
so I wanted to add him because I don't think people realize how amazing season he is having so far. Like not decent, not good, like amazing season so far. Like this is the guy that can defend. Like you can just put him on the players to defend, to lock and trail, to be a point of attack defensive. Like not amazing, but he can defend. Like he's shown when he's like zoned in that he can provide some defense. And on the offense, I'll just read like per 36 minutes, just so people, because he's playing a low minutes, people don't understand how great he is. So per 36 minutes, he averaged 21.6, 5 rebound and 4 assists. 21.5 rebounds and 4 assists.
That's
Shooting
very, very good.
43% from 3.
Wow.
And that's on 7.4 attempts a game. That's like if he gets the minutes, that's like borderline all-star numbers. Like if you like look at the per 36, I would say like that's probably top 50, top 40 players in the league if you compare everyone in the league per 36 minutes. Of course, he's not capable of playing 36 minutes at this level. But if you need a guy like he can be a starter on a good team. Like if you need 3-and-D guy, like in
And
this is not like something crazy because last 2 seasons at the Knicks he also shot over 40% from 3. So this is not like one wonder season. Like he is consistently shooting great. He's getting to the line. Or per 36 minutes, he's getting 6 free throws a game. Like he's just so efficient, and he's not bum on defense. I think like Lakers, if they don't go for Boyan, they need to get Burks. Like he's cheap and he's great. Like
yeah,
amazing.
I just had a look at his contract. It's expiring this season, which I'd say is a plus, and it's $10 million. That is very easy for a team to go pick up. As I said, I think the plus 120 here is like the only person we've listed that has probably some value on that number, even with the inflated prices at DraftKings. I could see the Pistons getting something for him instead of nothing, probably at the end of the season. But you know what? I didn't know Alec Burks. I apologize, Alec Burks. I wasn't familiar with his game like that. Those are some very impressive figures right there. I'll do my best Shaq impression on that one because I think a lot of teams could use this sort of player as well for cheaper than Gary Trent, as you said. All right, final player on the list does not have a price up. Has not had a price up since Dwayne Dedmon got traded to the Spurs because there's suspicion that Poeltl should be on the way out now. It is Jakob Poeltl. He's an expiring contract. If the Spurs don't trade him, I imagine they will get nothing. I think they will try to trade him. And I think there's value here. I think there's a little bit too much. I predict the San Antonio Spurs are visiting the Toronto Raptors to play a game tonight. Jakob Poeltl is not leaving. He is staying in Toronto beyond that game. I think the Raptors are going to make a big push to get him. What do you think is the fate of Jakob Poeltl?
Yeah, I think he's getting moved, but I would love to hear your offer for him.
So the offer being floated around right now, I don't necessarily support this offer, but Javon puts it up here. The Raptors have floated around Gary Trent Jr. and draft compensation to the Spurs for Jakob Poeltl. I don't know if I want to give up that much to get him. Pips dropped out. He'll be back in just a second here. I was in the middle of talking anyway, but Gary Trent Jr., I think a lot of Raptors fans want to keep him because where the Raptors have struggled this season is shooting and shot creation, which Gary Trent brings a lot of. But there could be concerns that Gary Trent leaves at the end of the season for nothing. So that could be a point of interest in terms of trading him. The Spurs have asked for quite a bit here as Pips comes back in here. The Spurs have asked for quite a bit here. I don't want to give up this year's first, and I don't think the Raptors will. But there is definite interest in getting.
So, my concern with this one is why would they go for Gary Trent Jr. when they have Devin Vassell and Calvin Johnson. I don't see the fit for the Gary Trent Jr. because he's similar to the Devin Vassell, and Devin Vassell is showing like that he can be a better version than
Mhm.
Gary. Like I want to see Devin Vassell playing 36 minutes a game next season.
Yeah, I think it's more so they want the salary and they want the draft compensation for Poeltl. So I don't know. I really would not want to give Gary Trent for Poeltl. I think the Raps can do better. If he does come to the Raptors, you have to get an extension right away. I wouldn't leave that up to chance in the offseason, which like the Raptors front office is smart. I don't think they would do that and take such a risk.
We broke the 1 hour stream first time.
Oh wow, look at that. And we'll do the same tomorrow as well on the trade deadline. This is the last player, fortunately, so we are about to wrap up. But do you see any other destination for Jakob Poeltl here?
So many teams will like improve with him, and I don't know. I will say Nets before, but Claxton is playing so great this season. Knicks could also use Jakob because Mitchell Robinson is having injuries all the time.
Good point.
So yeah,
Good point. He'd be
so
great. He'd be
that's
great with the
with
Knicks.
the East. The West is a bit like I don't know. Clippers have their way with the Zubats, but like they could add like a sub. I don't. I know they want to play small, but like he could be there. I don't know if Suns staying with Aiton. Probably they will, but they could also have some like decent there. Warriors, like if Steph didn't get injured, I actually think he could go to Golden State. Makes sense for me, at least. So yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Pelicans will be so one team that will be way better with Jacob is Pelicans. The
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
the defense will be so much better, and yeah, I just don't think Jonas is their guy for the future.
I don't know if this is an apples to apples comparison here, but the Raptors, the deadline before they won a championship, they traded Jonas Valanciunas for Marc Gasol. Now, I'm not saying Jakob Poeltl's Marc Gasol, but there's parallels. The high post playmaking, the interior defense. I think there's substance to that, and that could be an area they explore if they choose to move on from JV. And if they do move on from JV, I wonder if the Raptors could be the third team in there and pick up JV again. All these former Raptors players may be coming back to Toronto. I think that's solid. But any final thoughts before we wrap up that segment?
Yeah, I think we will have like a ton of trains in the last couple of hours, but
Yes,
there won't be much tonight or today. Like I don't
I agree.
expect like yeah.
The Raptors play tonight, so I think that's the biggest thing. I think the Raptors will be the thing that unlocks everything, and also the newfound sort of rumors that Kevin Durant may be possibly getting traded is kind of holding teams up. So we'll
Yeah,
react to all. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
KD makes sense. His move makes sense. They were good. They can compete, but I don't think KD is happy with the way the things are going. So his best teammate for now is like Nicholas Claxton and Ben Simmons, and yeah, if
It makes sense.
I actually wouldn't be like against it. Like I won't mind him moving because I understand like this is not the spot to be in these years. Like
It's just so quick, though. That's the only thing that takes me off. I think Summer, yes, but it's so quick to move him right now and get such a good deal, a good trade in return because he's playing so well, right?
yeah, but like if he needs to go somewhere, they also need to give something in that deal. So like you can give a lot of for KD and then be a great team. Like so I don't like when with competition like being competitive. I don't think he can get to a better spot than he is at the moment. As I said, like if he wants to go to some other team, like if he goes to the Phoenix Suns, they need to give up Aiton or like Chris Paul or both. So I don't think they are great team when they move these guys. So like,
Yeah.
I don't see like it happening, but I won't mind it.
So that is all we have from the trade deadline stuff. We'll be back tomorrow. So we previewed everything, and tomorrow Pips will be on with me on the Hammer HQ YouTube channel to react to everything that does go down. I'll put the link to the Hammer HQ YouTube channel in the YouTube chat right now. You can also go to YouTube and search the Hammer HQ. I'll be live from 2 to 4, reacting to trades as they happen from 2 to about 3:15. Pips will be on with me from 3 to 4. That is the plan. He'll be reacting to the final trades as they process after 3 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll have the aftermath. We'll be discussing everything as it goes down, but make sure to tune in tomorrow to that stream on, again, the Hammer HQ. Josh Goodwin of Raptors Digest should also be joining me for that one. We'll be interacting with chat. We'll be looking at odds, how the future market is affected as a result of all these trades going down, and we hope to see you guys there. This was a clip taken from our Pick and Roll live show, which you can catch right here on the Board YouTube channel, the NBA content division of the Hammer Betting Network, every weekday around 11:20 a.m. Eastern Time. Subscribe to the channel and drop a like to catch all the live shows or for more clips just like this.